me. What's going on YouTube? It's Donnie Bear all day. Forgot my sunglasses and my eyes are killing me. Well, isn't that better? So today, I have a couple of Cold Steel. I know I said Cold Steel. 1917. Oh, it doesn't ever want to come out when it's on the belt because it's not maybe the best. So normally what will happen is, because this is on the left, this sheath for the 1917 buoy, the frog hook is on the other side, but when you switch the frog over, there's a little hook that goes onto this button right here, and it's only on one side. I don't know why they don't put it on both sides. But this, obviously, this is a little customized, but this is the Cold Steel 1917 Frontier buoy. I love this knife. I am one of the rare people that got this knife razor sharp. I hear so many complaints about this knife, people getting them in really freaking dull. I got lucky. It was really good. The one thing I did not like about it, and the handle was matching pretty close to this one right here, which we're about to get into, but it was really weird. For some reason they made it extremely edgy on the end, on that pommel. It was just like I don't know why. It was like digital for some reason, and it was really boxy. So what I did is I just knocked it down, and I took some wood from my local tree, and I even took some wood and made pegs. So this thing is just crazy awesome. Very, very cool knife. With Cold Steel, the older the better. This one's a bit older, and it is fan-freaking-tastic. So they made a companion Saber, a Cutlass, and that is what we have here. I don't know if it can be drawn. It's not exactly, you know, if you're riding, you're the cavalry and you're cruising, not exactly the easiest thing to pull out when this is the setup. But if you did a tilt and pull, I'm pretty sure, especially if you wore it in reverse and had it across the body, it might come out way better, which probably would make more sense. But since I wanted to show you the knife, we're going that way, and that's probably most likely how they did it, because from there I'd be able to tilt and get a much longer pull. So I'm guessing it was made to be flipped. But let's get into this thing. These are now discontinued, making older. This one's about 10 years old. I'm very happy about that, because that gives me more faith that it's going to be good. It is so muggy out here. I don't know if you can see right there, all those water drops. I literally just ran my finger across the blade, and it is soaked just from being out here for just a few minutes. I don't even know. I don't know if you can see it, but I literally have droplets of water on the tip of this blade. I know it's sunny right now, but look at this. It looks like clear skies all around. We're about to get hit with thunderstorms. Imagine that. Welcome to New England. But it's getting a bit windy, and I was going to do a few other ones, but I decided why not take this thing out first. Now, this was donated by Sarah and Nathan Pierce to the channel, and I have to say it's a really nice piece from really nice people. So the sheath itself, a lot like the Frontier buoy, is really nice. You have the frog here, it disengages through this little button, and this flap is on this side because that's where it goes. They never seem to add a flap on the other side for people who like to reverse it, but it really wouldn't make sense on this sword because of this basket. As you'll notice, I am left-handed. I know it's reversed. I am left-handed. So this basket does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. I'm looking at the blade, and it almost looks like there's a slight, now this is an unused weapon right here. Nathan, I asked him about it, and he said no, he got it and he put it on display. It looked beautiful on display. I'm looking at it now, and maybe it's pretty true. It has a slight bend this way, and since this is never used, that most likely means when it was quenched, it took a bend and they didn't care because it was so slight. They just left. Plus, it's Cold Steel. some things get by them, like dull edges and off heat treats. But this one most likely took a bend in the quench and is just okay from there. Now, there's some things I love about this, and there's some things I really don't love about this. What I constantly hear about the 1917 is the dulling. This blade isn't very sharp. It's not very sharp. It was honed by Nathan. That's all it was. He didn't have to put an edge on it or anything. I'm assuming when he got it originally, all those years ago, he needed to hone it because he went, that's probably not, it doesn't feel sharp. And even though he honed it, and you can feel the edge, it's still mighty dull. Mighty dull. I mean, I can do that with a wet blade and not worry about it shifting up and down. I can feel it going up and down in my hand, and it's not cutting me. Is it dull for a knife? Yes. Is it dull for a sword? Maybe not. But being a saber and not something that's supposed to hack through wooden shields, it really should be sharp. It should be. It's basically the same as like a katana, where it's going through clothing and skin and things like that. And very rarely are you going to be met with somebody with a big shield and using a sword like this. So it really should be sharp. That's kind of a ball drop by Cold Steel. The overall design, it's pretty nice looking. Now, this isn't a knock on Cold Steel. This is just a knock on Sabers. They're very thin blades. And then the clip point at the end just kind of gives it almost a goofy look, but cool at the same time. Kind of, you know what I mean? It's and just like with a katana, from this point to this point, well, the curve, this wouldn't be here, but that's called a sortie, S-O-R-I, right? And it's the measurement of the curve from here to the top of the straight line from there. And it's very katana-like, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's almost like the American katana. The problem is this one has a weight issue. It's a 25-inch blade, 29 and a half pretty much overall, not counting this little nut here. And what happens is you have this great downswing. If this was sharp, this would be an amazing, I mean amazing slasher. Being dull, it should be a pretty good hitter. I'm gonna go over there and chop some stuff, and I think this should hit pretty good. The problem with it not having recovery, like it wants to keep going, it doesn't want to snap back. And I know you can see me snapping it back, but I'm a big, strong guy. It wants to just keep going forward. It doesn't have that light, nimble, what you'd normally expect out of a saber or a katana or anything like that, where this shape is here. Now, the only other thing that gets me is the grip. The grip is big enough to put a hand in, but they start this curve down way too far. And with someone like me, someone with huge hands, my hand just, I don't know if you can see it, but see how this part of my hand leaves? No matter how hard I try to squeeze on, my hand, I have my thumb up here, because of the weight it's forcing down, my hand rolls off the back of this handle. And I'll see if you can get a good look. See that? And that's not me just being an idiot or trying to say something bad. It's something round that needed to not be round. It needed to be maybe even come up a little, or just flat all the way to this part right here. It's just a bad design. It's a bad design. It means you can't really hold it too well. What I want to do, I'm going to try something. I want to put it in slow motion. I want to swing downward just so you could actually see what's happening with the hand. Hold on. All right, so this is going to be the first swing. I just want to swing hard down. I want to make sure that you guys are in there. See that roll? It's killing me. We'll do it from the other side too. All right, so from here, and you'll see my thumb is locked in, right? If I snap it, look at the distance. Look at the distance after snapping it from here to here. My thumb was locked in there. Just by snapping it, Normally, like with a katana, you can hold that area, but this part of the grip just makes it let go in your hand. Does that matter, especially for something like this, because it's a collectible sword? It's a sword you're gonna probably own and keep. No, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. It's just something that could have been better. Does that mean if you have an opportunity to get one, it's something that would make you go, ooh, I probably shouldn't? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The thing is still really cool. It is really cool. I am blessed to have good people in my life and people like them who would send it, because I just broke it. Because it's a really cool piece, and I know it sounds like, and you get a lot of the cold steel Karens. They just hate when you say anything negative about cold steel, no matter how truthful you're being. And that's the thing, is as a reviewer, I have to be honest. I have to say exactly what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. Does that mean I don't like it? Hell no, I think it's badass. But gotta be honest. All right, hold on. All right, we're gonna try something to start this out with. I'm gonna do a dive down throw. And what it is basically, what you do is you pinch near the hilt. Say I'm on a horse and I got a guy down there, I could throw this down into him as I'm riding, and with the momentum from the ride and then the throw, this thing would makes a devastating spear. Let's see if we can hit it at 5 yards. Oh, that is a 5-yard throw with a big heavy cutlass. Wonder if I could throw this and not hit the cutlass. Let's see. Yeah. All right. I was trying so hard to throw it nice and high, but we got them both. We got them both. All right, let's keep going. Hold on. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of fun. A big, heavy sword flying through the air. It's just not supposed to happen. It almost feels like the screws in the guard are loose, because I can feel a slight movement, but that's because I threw a big, heavy cutlass. That's no fault of the cutlass. Let's see. Oh man, come on. There we go. Took 3 hits to get that. To get this, and it wasn't even a clean hit. So that's the only problem with the edge, and it's just it's kind of a common thing with cold steel, is sometimes you get a really good edge, sometimes you don't. It's not exactly consistent. Remember, the older the cold steel, the better. This one's 10 years old, so this is, I would rather have this than something made yesterday. That's for sure. But let's try and really, you hear that? That little rattle. Oh yeah, so what's happening is this little screw is getting loose from use, but let's see if it'll hold on. Ugh. 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 Come on. All right, so I'm definitely, listen. Now it's really loose. So I can actually turn this with my hand. I bet you some Loctite would really, really help that out. Now, if you really wanted, you can take this guard off completely. What I would personally love to do, I just don't know if Nate would hate me for it. I want to cut this part off, just making it a true D guard, and get rid of the basket altogether. Ooh, if Nate didn't care, but I know he gave it to me, so it's basically do what you want with it type thing, but it's still respect. So let's see if we can. Man, I wish it was sharper, but I didn't want to touch it. I can make it sharper, but I didn't want to mess with the edge. Coming, because it needs to be an out of the box showing, and even though it's 10 years old, it's still out of the box. Ugh. Come on, baby. There we go. There we go. So, and if you're wondering why I'm chopping these trees, it's all overhang. When I run my mower through, catches me in the head. That sucks. So let's keep going. We'll hit some. We'll hit a couple logs. I want to see if we can do like a downward, and then And then, guys, had this like 10 years, sat on a shelf. I have it 10 minutes and I'm out here chopping wood. So we'll try that, and then we'll hit it like a 1-inch forestry. Let's see if we can find something that isn't bad for its health. I don't want something like full of knots and too thick and all that. This one's got some knots, but it should be okay. Maybe, if it'll stand. If it'll stand. All right, let's try this. Ugh. That took a shot right there. Let's test it. Let's test it. No more bending. No warping. I did fold over the edge right here. So you can see right there from hitting wood, it is very soft. This edge should not have done that. That is very, I don't even know if it's picking up in the camera because I have glasses on, but right there, see that nick? That should not have happened. That goes all the way through the edge. So what that tells me is the heat treat on this is really not good. And I just ran into a problem with the Mayhem with the heat treat, and the heat treat on the Mayhem isn't even that bad. I sent it out to Billy Ford, Apex Alchemy. Look up his video. He measured out the heat treat, and it was softer in the tip where the knife bent. Could have something to do with it. But so it's just a thing. It's a cold steel thing. There, and what's crazy is the older ones are always better. So if it was inconsistent then, it's inconsistent now. Let's see if we can't chop some of these. Let's see. The good thing is that is really fixable for me. That's very, very fixable. Ugh. There we go. It does take a little bit to get this thing to cut, but we're almost there. We're almost there. Oh. There we go. It needed reinforcements, but it will cut. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it sharper. I'm going to take it downstairs and fix the edge up a little bit. But overall, if you are offered a 1917 Cutlass Saber from Cold Steel, if you're wondering, hey man, if somebody has one of these for sale, should I buy it? Well, what do you plan on using it for? I know Steve Borg Resistance has one, and he uses his like crazy. But Steve is like an incredible welder. He can sharpen the hell out of them. He can pretty much do anything to make them right. So someone like that who can do his own work, no problem. If you can't do any work on a blade, if it's not your thing, I don't know how this happened. Just from swinging, it didn't happen from throwing it because it never hit anything. This whole thing bent. I never hit that. My hand has been on the handle the whole time, except on a throw that hit the tip. Somehow, this caved in. Look. It didn't just cave in, it bent out. Holy crap. This whole thing just bent. Well, and you know what's funny is the Cold Steel haters will find a reason why that happened. That's not the fault of, oh, well, that's because you used it to chop a piece of wood that was this round, a limb, and it's made to go through a femur. So, yeah. So, okay. So this guard, I mean, it's a little flimsy. I mean, look at the separation there. Look at that separation. This whole thing bent this way and dipped in and bent that way. I do not know how. How, when you're swinging this way, does this brake. I'm gonna have to straighten that. So I'm gonna have to straighten that, and if you're wondering how to straighten it, it's kind of simple. What I'm gonna do is put the tip in a piece of wood, put a little cloth or something on here, a piece of styrofoam, take the mallet and bang it down, and then I'll just have to pop this piece out. So right now the scales are really loose. Obviously the guard is loose. We have a chip. It came naturally with a bend. It's cold steel. What do you want? You take the good with the bad. And this is why I will never, ever buy a cold steel made by GSM. This one's not, but because they are, look at this. I am pressing my fingers in. Look, you can see, oh, you can't see. I am pressing my fingers on this edge, rolling it. I mean, there is nothing as far as an edge at the tip, which pretty much should be where it's at its sharpest. I wish I knew how that happened. Let me see if I have something right next to me. I don't. Oh, you know what? Let's do something. All right, so I have the tip in a piece of 2x4. I have this piece of wood right here. Instead of putting something on it with a mallet, let's see if we can just bend it back. Oh yeah, so it bends back. I mean, it shouldn't have bent in the first place, but it bends back. So now it's about, look at that. So now it's about, look at how warped it is. It's all over the place. So now I think I really need to cut it. I really need to cut it to make a D guard. Maybe I'll do that now. Sorry, Nate. All right, so I started to mark my cuts, but my disc went bad, and I thought I had more. That was my last disc. So I'm gonna have to get some more discs and do this at another time. But I'm gonna make this a really clean D-guard. I'll probably Loctite all of these. I was thinking of even maybe making a handle like this one so it matched, but I think what I'm going to do is keep these there and just do the D-guard. But it'll be all right. I think these are like amazing pieces for like collectors, especially if you want to hang something on a wall that looks pretty damn authentic, and you want it to just be freaking awesome. They're great for that. Using them, I mean, if your name's not Steve Org and you're not a freaking great welder, maybe you shouldn't use them. I mean, the coloration changed throughout the blade real quick. It's like already turning like a mud. The black is wearing off basically. Where I was using it, the black is almost already gone. So the coating isn't very good, which is weird because on the knife, which I thought was the same coating, I used the snot out of this knife. I have used this so much, it still has the coating. So that's kind of weird. And they're both older. They're both older pieces. So, I don't know, it could be they must have changed something down the line. But it is what it is. So I'll finish that off on my own time. And right now is the point where people start thinking, oh wow, he's really unhappy with this. That couldn't be farther from the truth. I think this is pretty dope. I do. I like it. This is something that once I fix it, once I make it less cold steel, I think I could have a whole lot of fun with this. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to have to debat it up a little bit and turn it into a per ride enjoy type thing. And once I do that, I can carry it on my left as well. Being a lefty, that'll be cool. Or I can carry it cross, because right now as a lefty I can't really carry it cross because the basket would be into me. So if I want to pull it cross draw with my left hand, I can't really do that. So So making it into an actual D-guard is going to open up that possibility, make it way better, way cooler. I can't believe it, the whole blade chipped hitting a piece of wood. Just crappy wood too. It's like half rotted. That should not have happened. No bueno. But I'm actually super grateful for this. Super grateful. I know people have a hard time telling because I'm honest, and honesty usually takes away what, grateful looks like. But just because I'm gonna tell you the truth about something doesn't mean I don't like it. This thing's really cool. So the 1917 Cutlass Saber from Cold Steel, is it worth owning? It is for me. Is it for you? Maybe not. If you're really worried about an edge coming in, if you can't do your own edge on a sword especially, if you're worried about the heat treat being bad, if you're worried about the basket breaking on you or getting all loose and maybe you don't know what to do about that, choose something else. 100% honesty, choose something else. I would say, especially right now, don't buy one now that GSM owns the company, but these are discontinued, so it doesn't matter. They're not making them anyway. That's it for this one. I am Donnie B all day. Until next video.